Okay, welcome back. Part 10 in this series on creating an automated video editing pipeline where they are. So the last video was the first one, the last part 9 was the first one that I'd recorded out of OBS with high quality. So I wanted to run the full pipeline that we've built up until this stage on that video to see what the quality difference looks like. So I've added that video. I've called it test 2, which is a bit confusing. It's part 9 of this series, but I've just called it test 2. The reason I did that is so I could run the full workflow as a new video, so I wasn't overriding what's in test 1. And this is going to allow me to test different parts of the workflow on 2 different videos at the same time. In reality, this is how it's going to run, because each video I run will get its own folder in the workspace, and all the assets this pipeline produce are going to be specific to that video. So I thought, let's not mess up test 01. We'll create a new video. This is completely fresh, a completely fresh run of the pipeline on part 9. And you can see each part of the pipeline run and what it's done. We'll take a quick scan through this. It's a good kind of high-level overview of what's happening. So the source video, these are the raw recordings. So part 9, there you can see it, 351 meg. So I ran pre-flight. That's recorded it as 335 meg. I forget off the top of my head why you get these different reportings of bytes used versus actual bytes. I should know this as a software engineer. But that said, 335 meg in. Let's just check. So it's this one, test 2. So I copied it in and renamed it to 351. So that's 335. I have a hunch their math, the Claude's math in the pre-flight script may be wrong. Not a big deal. And then it's detected it 1972 by 1276, 1,214 seconds. Estimated whisper cost, which seems to be, I think that's just coincidence that it's ended up being the same as the duration length. So this is about 20 minutes long. Yeah, 20 minutes long. So that's giving you an idea of cost. So if I do an hour, it's going to be 36 cents. No big deal. Free space, 225 gig left on my hard drive here on the Mac. Space required, 1.3. I had a look in the script. I'm like, how are they calculating this? So they just had a multiplier. They just multiply the original video by 3. I've actually now jacked it to 4 because of the increasing quality I've done in OBS and in the Recompose to get it to produce a higher file size output. So again, it's just an estimate, not really important. It's got the lot. Then we ran extract audio. Great, it's done that. So interesting. So like the audio file is 222 meg. It's way too big to send to Whisper. So this is where the MP3 compression becomes important. Silence detect. So it's merged one silence pair, meaning where it's gone, it's found silence, then a click or me going and then another silence, and it's just gone blam, slam them together. Found 81 silence segments, totaling near 3 minutes. Step 2, for silence detect, recompose, keeping AP1 segments, so 1,046 seconds long after silence cut. So nearly about 3 minutes cut out, which is kind of crazy in a 1-minute video. Not bad. Recomposed. So this is interesting. So 191 megabytes. So if you think the input size was 335, that's come out small. Now, I increased the quality in OBS. So that means OBS's encoding is much, much higher quality. But this Recompose has brought it down. So I may still go into the Recompose script and up the quality again, because I kind of want this staying around the same size, as in keeping the quality high. As you saw in the previous part where I talked about this, it's very easy to do. It's just a setting in the config. So I will probably jack that up. I can tell you the quality is kind of fine. I've reviewed it, but remembering this is going to go through another stage of encoding, it's going to degrade it a little bit more. So we want this kind of high in the middle. So if we're talking about 200 meg for 20-minute video, that's fine. I'm happy for that to be higher. No big problem. We want to keep this high in this stage. Ultimately, where this is going to get to is once it's done, all this is deleted. So it doesn't matter if these files are too big in the interim. So Recompose, transcript, converting to MP3 for Whisper. Now this is interesting. So 18 meg. So we're up at 18 meg for a 20-minute video. This is going to be important because what that says to me is once I hit, what was the duration? 20 minutes and then 3 minutes cut off. So you're talking about 17 minutes. I'll write that in there. So about 17 minutes is 18 meg. So it's roughly a meg a minute, which means we're going to get a cap at about 25 meg. We're going to have a problem because that's going to hit Whisper's limit. There's two solutions here. Solution one is just keep lowering the quality of the upload. Solution two is send it in chunks, which is going to get a bit ugly. Because that would require finding silence again and chopping it and then having Whisper know the timestamp of the second, third, fourth part to still generate accurate timestamps. So this could really be a problem later. Not going to worry about it for now. Remembering as well, this is already quite low quality audio going to Whisper. It's mono, it's whatever kilohertz it was. We'll do some playing around with this. I think initially I will try and track to lowering the quality. But the other thing is like, this might just be a good reason to try and keep videos shorter. So not trying to go over about half an hour per recording. But that's going to be a tricky constraint to work with in practice. So yeah, I'm going to add this to the backlog. So let's call this a Sev 1 because it is a Sev 1. Videos over 25 minutes will exceed Whisper limits. We'll just call it like that. Suffice to say, it worked for this because it was under 25 meg. Where are we up to? Transcribe, calling Whisper, that's come back. It's got its segments, got the manifest, and then done its narrative analysis. 3 cuts recommended, overall score 7.4, much the same as the previous one. What we can do, now I have the test 2 folder, is jump straight to the analysis. There you go, if you remember the start. Host announces improved OBS recording quality starting from this video and teases a quality check. Notes, meta housekeeping about recording setup, weak cold open, audience doesn't care about OBS settings yet, cut or compressed to 1 sentence. So this is good stuff. I mean, this is good stuff. If I was trying to make a standalone video and you want a good kind of open, that's good feedback. This is part of a series, it's longer, I don't really care. I'm not expecting someone to stumble on these videos individually and go, you're going to be watching the whole series if you're interested in what I'm doing with this. So great, suffice to say that's working. So a narrative analysis is complete, and I can tell you the recomposes work well because I've already watched it. So yeah, things are good up until this point. This is going to be a problem with the audio. We'll deal with that later, not in this video. Let me show you what we got. So one thing is the silence trimming is still a bit aggressive. So I noticed some of it's cutting me off at the end of sentences a bit too much. So I'm going to add a bug for that. That'll be easy to tweak. But certainly the color grading, the quality, you can't really see it in this video. Suffice to say, I am now using this pipeline for this series. So I'm running the videos I'm recording for this series through this pipeline. So the videos you're watching as I'm progressing through this series are actually being edited through this series. So you can judge the output for yourself on this part when it's uploaded. And you'll see the kind of tweaks and improvements. The jump cuts are working really nice. As I say, it is cutting me off a little bit. But yeah, it's working, and it's working well. And I can tell from the screen, like, the quality's gone up. My webcam footage looks better. It's good enough. So yeah, all this is working nice. So back in the to-do list, we can kill narrative analysis. That's done. Anthropic is working. FFmpeg quality on Recompose far too low. Let's go Sev 3, keep it open, make it higher. So this isn't a blocker now. It's kind of lower priority. I won't do this now, I'll do this off screen. This is a problem with Obsidian. Hard to cut tasks, markdown. These checklists that are just markdown syntax, Obsidian has a plugin that turns them into checkboxes you can clear. It's just a bit buggy to use. I'm not going to look at that now. I'll look at that offline. No need to bore you guys with it. That one's actually done, even though it's related. I'll mark that one as complete because we did do the work to make everything MP3. Generate silence timestamps. So test on bigger videos. I'm going to change this into a bug. Call this a Sev 2. Silence timestamps, still too aggressive, add padding to end. And I thought that was fixed based on the change we did in the previous video, because that's exactly what I wanted it to address, but it's not quite working. There's a chance the silence detection in FFmpeg is just not giving great data on it. There's nothing you can do about that. But it's fine. I mean, it's the output is perfectly watchable. I just don't want to be cut off right at the end of a sentence. I want just a little bit of padding before it sort of cut silence bits out. Build job manifest, validate following stages. I'm going to keep this open because we haven't really used it yet. And then nothing in the backlog yet. I mean, the main to-dos I'm working on is really just work through scripts. So I'm not going to create an item for each of those because it's the main thing I'm doing. But you get the point. Okay, so what's next? Generate content. So now things get interesting. Generate content. Produce all text content assets from the manifest and narrative analysis via Claude. Video titles, 3 options of rank, video description, video summary, chapter timestamps and names, blog article, social posts, Twitter and X, LinkedIn, 3 options for each, tags and keywords. Here we go. I'm not going to bother reading any of this. I will no doubt want to change the prompts, but we'll just run it and see what we get. Content schema. So I don't know. So what this is going to do is it's going to say to Claude, hey, do all this work and return it like this. So because I've not worked with Anthropic's APIs, I don't know whether they have schema support. I know OpenAI do, and it works really well. But that will be an API setting, if there's one. Yeah, no, it's just going to be in text. So they're going to send one big prompt. It's going to have all my junk in it, and it hopefully will just come back with the whole thing. This is going to be a meaty prompt, and they're trying to one-shot it. Let's see what we get. No point debating whether it will work, as well just run it. So I'm going to run it on video 2 because it's a longer video. So in my test scripts, I'm going to need number 7. I'll say want test 2. Good. What's the script called? Get the name in here. Do that. I could do this myself, but too late. and then depending on what it gives back, I'll paste it in there so I can rerun it. There you go. It's got this wrong a couple of times. So go to the directory and then using the Python environment run script7 passing in job ID test ID 2. I'll do 1 as well just in case I go back to that, and then I've got the 2 commands. If you don't know Markdown, if you do triple back tick like that, you can put code in. So say I was going to put some JavaScript in like that, and then you can type the language above. Whoa, helps if you can spell. And then it syntax highlights that in the IDE with what the language is. So I'm saying bash there because it's a terminal command, and then it kind of gives you that syntax highlighting. So that's how you do that. So that'll work on anything, Python, etc. But it's part of the Python it's part of the Markdown integration for VS Code. It's a VS Code feed. Just a little tip. All right, let's do this and see how much this costs. I think another thing I'm going to be interested in, and I'm going to add this as a to-do while that's running, is collate token costs for all AI calls. So what I want this to do is every single call in this that uses OpenAI or Anthropic, I want to know how much the calls have cost. Not that it's going to be too expensive, but it will just be nice to sort of track it. Certainly OpenAI return the tokens you've used for every request you make. So it'll go 3,000 input tokens, 4,000 output tokens. Then there is a library you can get that has up-to-date costs for each of the providers, Anthropic, OpenAI, etc., and they'll translate the tokens to cost at the point in time. So then you can run it through that, it updates automatically, and it will give you like, hey, this whole workflow cost you $1 for a video, and it will just give me an idea of kind of, how much all this is costing. But I don't expect this to be grossly expensive. Having said that, where it will get expensive, I absolutely guarantee you it will get expensive, is the images. The images will be all the cost. So like Whisper, you've seen, that's going to run up pretty high. But image generation costs money. So that's where we're going to want to kind of be careful, make sure the image generation prompts are good. They're going to need a lot of tweaking so that, it's giving kind of good, consistent results each time. This has run 0.7 generate content. Let's see what this has got. I have no idea what this is going to spat out. So interesting. Titles. Rank 1. I built an AI that reviews my own videos. It gave me 7.4 out of 10. Rationale. Specific store creation, curiosity, self-referential loop is genuinely not fantastic. Using AI to automate my own contents, live API calls, real scores, brutal feedback, narrative analysis script, how I'm using Claude to fix my video. I would probably just take number 1 in all cases, but that's pretty good. Yeah, and I love the specificity. So like with copywriting, you see adverts from people go, I save $47 on blah, blah, blah. Like anytime you can get a specific number in, that does something to people's brains where they're like, hang on, he's being specific about something. So that's a great title. Awesome. Description. Let's get where we're up on again. Need to figure out how they get that on permanently. This would go straight into YouTube. So you can see it's got, so those /ns is new line. So that would be like pressing enter on screen. It's got emojis in there. It's got the chapters in there. So, as I say, like I'm going to use this for this series, so I'm immediately going to take this and start using it for the videos in the series. Interestingly, I haven't actually uploaded any yet, so I can go back and run it on part 1 onwards, and I'll get all this. So I'm hoping you're kind of seeing the benefits of this in terms of just taking a raw recording off OBS and getting a lot of heavy lifting done for me. Noticing in OBS I'm coming up to 21 minutes, so I want to skim through this and then we'll close out. Summary. Chris runs his narrative analysis. Blang. Chapters. Ooh, interesting. I tell you what I'm going to do with this later. I'm going to get this to bake in something on screen where you can see like a timeline. Yeah, something for later. A blog article. Boom. I can pop that straight on my website when I create one. Social posts, Twitter, LinkedIn. So what I'm going to do with this is I want to make sure the writing style is appropriate. And my goal is to have this post on my account. So I don't want kind of AI copyrighty crap. There's a certain voice I will want to encode in the prompting. And then the goal is like it will generate this and just post it without me reviewing it. I'm not joking. I've done enough automated content generation to know that is reliable, and ultimately it's just a teaser to go to a video, which is not AI content. So that's cool. What I would probably do, even though it's like doing different ones, it's ranking, I'd probably want to do all of these. So post the different ideas here over multiple days. So essentially I'm pushing the same video a few times. Tags, great. So there you go, content assets. On first pass, this is pretty good. So the only tweaking I will do here is to look at the prompts and potentially influence the voicing and style of writing it's doing. All of which should probably be done, can probably be done with system prompts. So I probably just need to add like, write in this tone, blah, 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 blah. And then that would do it. So I'll spend a bit of time offline looking at this content, and I'll probably make those tweaks because it's just prompt tweaks. If you guys want a follow-up video about that, can do that, but it's going to be as simple as like, I'd probably go in Claude because it's using a Claude model and just go, hey, rewrite this bit of content in this style and just iterate until it produces something you like. And then you could go to Claude and go, hey, write me a system prompt I can put in my app to use this. Then you got to run it through this a couple of times and just keep bulk testing it until it's spitting out things you like. So that's really the process for improving writing style. But this is good. We're up to step 7. Step 7 is working. I wouldn't call this done, but it's good enough for now. So I'm going to call this time on this one, and then we're going to go to detect shorts, which is where this could all fall spectacularly apart.